Good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for February 9th, 2024. We'll start with the hybrid swing. This is Alcoa, 30-minute charts. This blue box is the 5-period look back, 5 days. This is today's price action in the yellow. That was yesterday's trade, a simple kata 2 that exited at the dragon. This was a gap down to here. It sold off through the Bollinger Band main. So I get short after one risk box. It sells off hard. The R10 reverses. I take the exit at the skin of the dragon and also the VWAP. And that is worth 2R. That's probably the most common trade ever. You've probably seen that 200 times this year. Not doing anything different. AI was here was yesterday's close. Here's the gap up to here. It keeps going up. I let it move one risk box off the low, hold my nose and enter. It runs all the way up to here, rolls over. I give it one risk box off the high, and I exit for 2R. Caterpillar. Here's yesterday's trade that exited. The R10 rolls up to here and it stops here at the close. It gaps down to here. It is below the belly of the RL10. That's an instant collapsing dragon. There's the standard risk box. It sells off hard. Could have exited here. The market was weak. I let it run another one. Speculated. It exited here. That's 2R. That's not much different than if I just exit here. That's what I would recommend that you do, is take that first nice exit and get paid 1.5. But that's 2R. No overnight risk. This is Cliff Natural Resources. That's yesterday's short that we exited when it reversed up. Today it opened right where it closed. It was a PSAR flip and moving up. It opened here, entered here, standard risk. When R10 rolls over, take the exit at the skin of the dragon. 2R. CVS, this is a kata 2. And really, I would almost treat that as a supported spring crossing, because you had about 15 bars of, declining PSAR. That's a significant sell-off after 30 bars of upward moves, and that's what makes this a kata 2. Here it crosses above the dragon, crosses above the Bollinger Band main, buy it with a standard risk. There was an opportunity for a second entry right there. I didn't take it, but this closed very well, and we're holding 2R, and I'm going to let that one continue to go for Monday. This is, breaking through resistance up here. So I like that one. And healthcare was pretty strong this week. This is diamonds. So yesterday we got the stop and reverse here. So we were short, exited. That was a stop and reverse with a standard risk. It ran all the way up to here. We liked that gap down to here. So we sold off for about half an hour. Missed the short. It gave a 1, 2, 3 reversal here. So got long again, standard risk, and it gave us about a 0.2. Disney, no trade, missed the short. Devon Energy, missed the short completely. Gee whiz, horrible. Emerging markets missed. Ethereum, no trade. No trade in Brazil or Mexico. I'm sorry, we had one in Mexico here, or Brazil. It was flat. China took the SSC on a 1, 2, 3, 2R. Intel, half an hour on a cloud of 2. IP. So this one is just, 3 days ago, we got this quiet little cot of 2 and nothing happening much, except then it gapped up and went. So we added a second position today. It gave us another cot of 2. So we got 3 positions in on this one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8R on this one. 4R on this one. 1R on that one. So that's about 13R on 3 positions. And it's looking pretty good. Great industrial company. Would not have predicted that from back here, but fortunately we're not in the prediction game. IYR, 1, 2, 3 entry, closed for an R. Coca-Cola. Gap down, collapsing dragon for half an hour. Regional banks, caught 2, holding 2R overnight. Over the weekend, McDonald's. We just exited the. I'm sorry, exited the COTA 2 from yesterday. We waited to see, and it started rolling over. So we exited the skin of the dragon for 4R. 3R in China. New add to the portfolio. Just stock and Facebook Merck. Collapsing dragon for 2R. Microsoft added a second position after a gap up and go, and we're holding both of those overnight. That's 10R, and a tech leader at an all-time high. Sure. Marijuana tried the gap down and short, -1. Nike, COTA 2 holding 2R. Nvidia holding 2R on the COTA 2. Clean Energy holding 2R on the COTA 2. It was that kind of day. Rivian. So yesterday we had this one, the PSAR flip and COTA 2. And that one ran all the way up to here. So we were holding about 4R. And then it gapped up to here. You just let it monkey around. And when it found rising lows, it had 4 chances to fail, and it did not. So just added a position. It closed pretty well. So we're holding 5, 6, 7. 7R on the first one. 1 hour on the second one, so that's about +8. So we have a nice cushion on that. SPY was really gently rising all day to an all-time high, close. Treasuries stabilizing, Tesla, a COTA 2 in the middle of the day for a scratch. Walmart, no trade. U.S. Steel, no trade. These are 3-minute charts. Sniper trades of the day. This one is in DIA. Let's see, this is the opening right here. It gives a 1, 2, 3 PSAR flip short, standard risk, PSAR flip for +1. It rolls over. Now it's got lower highs. That makes this a nice collapsing dragon. PSAR flip for 3. Here's the reversal after it puts in a a continuation to the upside, if you will. There's your PSAR flip, standard risk. It gets all the way to the VWAP and stalls, so that's a good exit. Total +7 in DIA. This, oh, that was the same one, sorry. And this is, there we go, AI, sorry. I'm trying to find the chart. Here's yesterday's close. Here's the big gap up, so we know it's in play. The OR3 settles in right here. It opens here, ran up, ran down, came back. It gives me a 1, 2, 3 entry. Rising PSAR, rising river, rising dragon. Why don't I get short here? Because it's not 2 to 1 down to the logical stop, so there's no short side trade. It would have to get below this price level to be a collapsing dragon, so it's not a trade. This one runs straight up. The R10 peaks right here, so I activate the exit at the skin of the dragon. Maybe 1.5. It breaks out of the dragon again, re-enter, standard risk, peaks. This is 0.5. The R10 rolls over and breaks through the PSAR, comes all the way back to the VWAP, holds, and then gets a lower high in the RL10. The PSAR flips. The RL30 rolls over. Price crosses through the rising Bollinger Band mean. That's an owl entry. Short. 1, 2, 3 recovery for 0.5. 2.5 net for the day. 3-minute charts. Let's look at the traders today. All right, this was Joe's entry yesterday on a PSAR flip and breakout, which closed here, which on that much risk, he was probably holding about 3R of a buffer, and then this gapped up, ran all the way up, and here he exited for 30R. There was a follow through here, a reentry after the reversal. He didn't take that. Hamad, um, I think you're getting a little gun shy exiting here. If you're not going to re-enter right away, then why are we exiting here? It was to preserve a win. But then here's the re-entry. Or trust your stop, and then this could be the second position. And then when you get this high, that's a reasonable exit to keep this entry in the money. But we gave back the fat part of that trade. This is a great short as it crosses the VWAP. Good exit, good re-entry on a collapsing dragon. I would try to scratch that, but that's still not bad. A good re-entry as it crosses the VWAP. It just didn't follow through. Good re-entry and a scratch. This is a good short when it hits below the VWAP. You get paid. That's still pretty good shooting. Starting to respect the VWAP a little more. NVIDIA 1.4 speaks for itself. That's good stuff all the way through. This is Disney. Here's your OR3. There's the short. 1, 2, 3 exit and hits the VWAP. I just feel like we should be getting that. This is a good long, good exit, great short. Maybe a bar or two late, but that's still pretty good. And I like waiting for the VWAP to be crossed. Good scratch. I just think we got to maybe hit that a little better. It's hard for me to see why this is okay. That's what I get that. How this one could be minus or plus 0.3 and this one minus 0.4? That the scale on that doesn't look right. Unless you're using a different size risk one. That's probably it. Rivian basically grinds it out for the day. I would probably be tempted in here. When the PSAR has flipped, it crosses the Bollinger Band mean. It had 2 hours to fail and it did not. It's coming out of the Red River here. This feels like that could be an entry. Love the exit. I like the entry discipline at the VWAP. You're respecting that one. George, let's see. All right, so when this one doesn't work and the PSAR flips and it crosses the Bollinger Band mean, we can exit here and we could be short there. And you get paid in the first bar. And then this downward grind all day to exit here. So we should be seeing this. Try expanding the scale on this because you got a lot of unused space here. and down in here. And so these little bars are so tightly squeezed in here, it's kind of hard to see anything going on. So maybe its scale might make the um, might make it easier to see. Okay, the breakout doesn't work. It PSAR flips. We should be exiting here. You could be short there, or you could be short here. That would get paid. And then here's a 1, 2, 3 entry north of a rising Bollinger Band mean. We should be able to get that trade. That is routine. I like the entry. We were in the money and we let it scratch. We should be no lose plus dinner for 2. We could re-enter on a 1, 2, 3. Not much there, but it's possible. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you can't get short on, and you can't get short on Ethereum. My bad. Um, Good try. Minus -0.1. That's the right play. You have every reason to believe that's going to follow through. It did not. Did I miss? Yeah, Microsoft. Um, that's the indicated trade. There's not much else there. Um, Good scratch. One we could re-enter here when it leaves the dragon. This is a really wide stop. I think if you had your stop here, that makes this a +1 trade. When this short doesn't work, in other words, when the collapsing dragon holds, this does not fail and it crosses the VWAP, that is an entry signal. This is Satya on AMD. So here's the gap up. There's a trade in there if you want it, but this this reversal and breakout above that emerging dragon is perfect. Good risk box for 6R. There's a collapsing dragon, as you noted. I like that shot. Cut it quick. I like the COTA 2 for another 0.8. Net 6.3. Good shooting. Getting real proficiency with that symbol. 3R in Microsoft. I like the re-entry here. He tried this, it didn't work, he's out. It 1, 2, 3s, re-enters. Good exit. There's another trade there, as you noticed. So it's almost 10R for you today. That's good work. And scratches in here. Yeah, so this is working on 30 minutes. So that's the open. And I like the 1, 2, 3 and PSAR flip, and it just didn't follow through today. Bullish normal, massively overbought at all-time highs. The winning, how good is the BMR? Those things are crushing to the upside. Current leaders still in play, all US tech and finance. For finance, there's American Express and Travelers. In tech, there's IBM and the semiconductor index. That's AMD. ETF2 remains at 100%. Volatility gave a little, almost caught a two to the upside. It's favoring the long side here. The RLFF regression line fractal framework. Daily charts. The price is suppressed, so you can really just see the blue line is the RL10 that reversed and is moving up. The black line is moving up. The RL90 is this green line that is strongly up, and the RL270 paused. So it took this much of a sell-off to get the RL270, instead of doing this, to just get flat. And then the resumption of the move, now it drags the 270 forward. And this is where the RL270 rolled over. It crossed the 270, bottomed out, crossed above. This was a sign of increasing strength, and it resolved to the upside. So all-time highs and going north. And this is a summer, fall, summer. This is where the summer kicks back in, right there. The fact that it did not fail is affirmative strength. The 3-day S&P, that was the previous all-time high, crushing it. That was the previous all-time. No, this hump was that. This was the previous all-time high, and it's crushing it. Yep, all-time highs, looking good. Blended monthly rebalancing from the weekly portfolio review. The Qs in the S&P, 1 week and 1 month, and smashing everything on the blended. The Russell is even coming along now. The small caps playing catch up, and there's more room for that to go. That is really healthy. And the mid caps are there too, getting it done. So everything US, getting it done. That is an expansion into the Russell and the mid caps is risk on, and an expansion of the growth opportunity. And even the rest of the world is beginning to take notice. In emerging markets, they have a lot of distance to overcome. So that could be early days in EEM that bears watching. In ETF 22, we add the XL series, like XLK and XLF and XLI, and every sector in the US S&P is crushing it. And notice that in the comparison between new school tech from the NASDAQ and old school tech from the S&P, old school tech is beating it in every performance category. So this is the Microsofts and Apples and IBMs and Cisco and Intel and AMD and all that stuff. ETF 32 adds some additional symbols from the global markets, and clean energy in China had a little bit of recovery. They got a lot of pain and suffering to overcome, so we'll watch that as a potential value play. Meanwhile, the winners win and the middle of the pack fails. So that's relative strength at work for you right there. Key leaders for your longer term portfolios. World market model and the ETF regional report. So you have All US is above average. Tech is especially good. That's the Qs. You have private equity, hedge funds doing good. Commodities and oil are lagging, as are all of the other defensive plays. So it's all equities. So when we come down here and look at the asset classes, the S&P, which represents equities, is smashing everything. The next closest thing, and it's the only thing that under the strength column is above the average of the database, is US real estate. But oil, gold, commodities, and treasuries, the other categories of broad assets, are all getting smashed. And then inside of the S&P, so if we take the S&P and break it out into the 9 sectors, you notice that under the strength column, it is technology smashing it. You have energy and utilities lagging, really lagging. You have staples and materials kind of lagging. And then above average is finance and industrials. So that's XLK in the lead, clearly, then XLI and XLF in second and third position. Those are the top 3 out of the 9 sectors of the broad S&P. That's where the strength is. In the Asian countries, it's India and Australia. That's EWA. And in the global business sectors, it's tech. It's kind of the world at a glance. Now, what I noticed this green and white. That's this one. Was good, now great. It's a chance to exploit new strength in the Russell mid-cap growth. Mid-cap growth. So now that is the strength INDU, I think it is, or IFN. I'm sorry, IFN is India. And the mid-cap growth is showing opportunities, as is the Russell 2000 growth, IWO, and the growth index in the S&P is fine. And you're starting to see a little bit of cooling off, white and green, in the banking ETF and the financial spider. So the finance is starting to decay a little bit, as is metals and mining in Mexico. And it's a shift into U.S. growth because it successfully survived the January shenanigans. Dailies, we'll go to dashboard number 1. Excuse me. There we go. All the same stuff. Now, today, big breakouts, as in measured by the NDX, in Microsoft and NVIDIA. Take heed. In the ETFs, you have big breakouts in the S&P and the Qs, U.S. tech, consumer discretionary, and agriculture, and the Russell mid-caps. Treasury traders should be stalking that 10-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Doesn't mean buy it, it just means as soon as you see equities cool, that is really well postured as an alternative asset class. So I'll be looking to switch horses when that occurs. Handful of symbols in the auto framer and on the squeezes. I'll leave it to you to study. Summer followed by the spring is dominating. When you see them, it's in the summertime and the Z-score is above 1. Massive indication of strength. Walmart and AXP. Amazon even making a stealth recovery. The usual suspects. American Express and Microsoft. AI has room to run. It's got 10-day strength now, and it's got some sell-off to overcome. That's actually pretty healthy, as does Cliff, resuming the strength. Cisco has some room to go here. It's got to overcome a bunch of below average performance, and maybe that's the start of it. Same with PayPal. All the usual suspects. Getting tired of saying it. No, I'm not. Usual suspects for the top 10 trading value. Just strong as can be. The Z-score of the 90 is strong. The 30 is rising. Of the 10 is rising. Price has cleared the previous peak and rising. It's an all-time high. All right, fellas, that's everything for today. We'll get it published and posted tomorrow morning as Story Circle. The only thing we don't talk about is trading, but otherwise the Saturday morning circle is where we do a true story circle with a bunch of folks that have been together. Some are traders, some are not, but we don't talk about trading. We just talk about work in progress on whatever is the personal project that is most important to us for self-development and our main effort. And we just tell true stories about that. And we just listen and appreciate each other's fellowship and company on Saturday mornings at 8:30. And if you're in the sound of my voice and are interested, let me know. It's a different room than this one because it's a different purpose. But if you're interested, just send me a note and I'll add you to the list. Take good care and see you for the Foundation's Q&A on Sunday and coaching on Monday night. Take good care.